The Honorable Senators Ibarra, Binay, Cayetano, De Lima, De La Rosa, Drilon, Gatchalian, Go, Gordon, Ontiveros, Lacson, Lapid, Marcos, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Revilla, Tolentino, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 17 senators physically present and 5 senators virtually present, total of 22 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number 471.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration is in order.
We ask the Secretary, Mr. President, to read the title and text of the resolution.
Secretary will please read the title of the resolution.
Resolution informing the House of Representatives that a quorum is present in the Senate and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the second regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 471.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senate PS Resolution number 471 is adopted. Before we continue, Majority Leader, we stand corrected. There are 6 senators virtually present for a total of 23 senators.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number 472.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration is in order.
We ask the Secretary to read the title and text of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
Letter from the Secretary General of the House. Oh, sorry.
Informing 472.
Resolution informing President Rodrigo Roa Duterte that a quorum is present in the Senate and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the second regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 472.
Any objection? Hearing none. Yes, Resolution 472 is adopted.
Mr.
May
President,
continue? Please.
do we have the concurrent resolution number 10? Mr. President, I move that we consider on House Concurrent Resolution number 10. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of House Concurrent Resolution number 10 is in order.
May we ask the Secretary to read the title?
Secretary will
And
read the title of the concurrent resolution.
Concurrent resolution providing for the Senate and the House of Representatives to hold a joint session to hear the message of the President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt House Concurrent Resolution number 10, Mr. President. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, House Concurrent Resolution number 10. Hearing none, consideration is in order.
May we ask the Secretary to read the title and text of the measure?
Secretary will read the title of and the text of the PS Resolution number 12.
Concurrent resolution creating a joint committee of the Senate and the House of Representatives to notify the President of the Philippines that Congress, now convened for its second regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines, is ready to hear his State of the Nation address in a joint session of both houses. Resolved by the Senate, the House of Representatives of the Philippines concurring that a joint committee of both houses of Congress be created, composed of 9 members, 3 to be appointed by the President of the Senate, and 6 to be appointed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives to notify the President of the Philippines that Congress, now convened for its second regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines, is ready to hear his State of the Nation address in a joint session of both houses. Adopt.
Ilan?
So much. Mr. President,
All right.
Mr.
All right,
President,
what does the majority leader say?
I move to adopt Senate Concurrent Resolution number 12.
Any objection? Hearing none. Concurrent resolution number 12 is hereby adopted. Senators,
Yung
Senators Pia Cayetano, Senator Bong Revilla, and Senator Sherwin Gatchalian are hereby designated as members of the Joint Notification Committee. They will be attending sessions later.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready to listen to the address of our dear Senate President Vicente Soto III.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, my esteemed colleagues. To you, my dear colleagues, to all the hardworking civil servants in the Senate, to the dedicated public servants of all other government agencies, to our dear frontliners in the medical and other support services, at sa ating mga makapangyarihang mamamayan, kababayan. Magandang umaga po. I open the second regular session of the 18th Congress of the Senate with a sense of urgency and a purpose. As long as we share the burden of the COVID pandemic with other countries of the world, we must continue to work towards saving lives and easing our common anxiety. This truth is unavoidable. The Senate has promptly responded to the needs of our nation. Still, the Senate is ready to do more. Always remember that the Senate is here for all Filipinos. Nandito ang Senado para sa inyo. I speak for all the senators when I say that in the second regular session, your legislators will be proposing laws that will answer the question, how can we make this situation better for every Filipino? My fellow citizens, meron po tayong kasabihan, ang sakit ng kalingkingan ay dama ng buong katawan. Yan ang pakiramdam natin lahat ngayon. The travails brought about by the COVID pandemic. Since we are all affected, therefore, the resolution of the problem must reside in each and every one of us. In this moment of crisis, our survival depends on how strong we fight this crisis together. We are thankful for the reported recoveries from the pandemic. We are saddened by the deaths of many, inspired by the heroism of our frontliners, but we must not lose hope or turn our frustration to destructive anger. Instead, let us keep our eyes always on the Lord, because like what He constantly tells us in the book of the prophet Isaiah, do not fear, I will help you, says the Lord. Together we must fight the feeling of uncertainty that runs rife in every day. All of us must pledge commitment to survive this crisis, not only individually with our families, but more importantly, together as a nation. Today, I give my solemn pledge that the Senate will fight for and in behalf of the Filipino people. The world is on fire. The more our nation reflects this reality, the more earnest government must be in protecting each and every one in our community. The Senate is aware of its bounden duty in these times. As representatives of the people, it behooves upon your senators to stand as vanguards in this national crisis, national health crisis. More than ever, we are determined to give voice to your needs. In the previous regular session, your Senate worked for the approval of COVID-related legislations which are now being implemented by various government agencies. Through our oversight powers, we will make sure that the programs laid out in the law are followed to the letter and that transparency in the handling of funds is observed. As your Senate enters the second regular session of the 18th Congress, we will continue where we left off in the shaping of adequate legislation to this major challenge in our lives. Nandito po kami upang ipagpatuloy ang aming nasimulan. There is no question that the COVID pandemic will leave us all changed. In this cusp of transformation, we are all challenged to take part in building a new world. Binabago at patuloy na magbabago ang lahat sa ating buhay dahil sa pandemyang ito. Inahamon tayo ng panahon na makilahok sa pagbabago. Ang maglilok ng bagong taon na isisilang sa bagong mundo. Without preempting my colleagues in the Senate who chair various committees that have jurisdictions over specific matters, as your Senate President, I would be very willing to lead all of you to craft a holistic agenda in the second regular session that will focus on the following legislative concerns. Number one, digital landscape. For as long as the pandemic remains uncontrolled, there will be a need to upgrade and improve the digital highway in support of various communication and online transactional needs. Number two, distance learning. As we stay isolated, we must not neglect a generation of young people who would otherwise be deprived of advancing in their studies. We must support programs that will help the education sector migrate to more plausible learning platforms. Number three, public transport system. In order to revive our economy, it is imperative that we have a safe, efficient, and dependable public transport system that will ferry workers so that industries may again produce goods and services, and people can resume earning incomes to spend. Number four, encouraging new business. Experts say that this pandemic has fundamentally changed the market economy. Government can help entrepreneurs find their place in the emerging business and landscape by reassessing tariffs so as to ease burden or business burdens where appropriate, as well as providing the means for new ventures to flourish. And fifth, support for the arts. Priority should also be given in support of the arts. We must rebuild our nation in both body and soul. Great civilizations before us endured not only because they had material wealth, but because they lived a life nurtured by writers and artists. Sa panahon ng krisis, higit natin kailangan ng mga manunulat, mga makata, mga manlilikha na tutulong sa ating intindihin ang nangyayari sa mundo. At sa gayong pagninilay-nilay, mahahanap natin ang kahulugan ng buhay at hindi mawala ng pag-asa sa gitna ng mga nararanasang mga pasakit. For what good will we be if we survive all this but lose our soul? It is my hope that the Senate help this nation emerge from the chaos of the pandemic with its mind and heart intact. There are new discoveries, or news of discovery, I should say, of the corona vaccine coming from the scientific communities all over the world. This is a beacon of comfort and another reason for us to hang on. Nagpapalakas ng loob ang balitang malapit ng makahanap ng kontrabakuna o pambakuna. Ngunit hanggat wala pa ito at panghabang buhay ay dapat manalig tayo sa Diyos at sa bawat isa. Hanggang sa araw na dumating ang kaligtasan ito, umasa kayong nandito ang Senado para sa inyo. The Senate stands firm. Together with the Filipino people, we are committed to saving lives, to reviving our economy, and to the creation of a shared future based on truth, respect, freedom, and love of nation. We know that our work is not easy. That is why I invite everyone to work in every possible way with your government, in the same way that your government promises to work with you. Tayo ay magkaisa dahil sa pagkakaisa lamang tayo magwawagi. As always, I look forward to working with my colleagues, my beloved colleagues in the Senate. I thank you, my fellow senators, for your trust and support, as well as your patience in the challenging work of legislation. At higit sa lahat, gusto ko pong pasalamatan ang makapangyarihang taong bayan ng Pilipinas. Kayo na patuloy na nananalig sa Diyos at nagsasabuhay ng kabutihan para sa bawat isa. Kayo ang dahilan kung bakit nandito kaming mga senador. Hindi namin kayo bibiguin. In closing, I would like to reiterate the Senate's appreciation to our medical and other allied frontliners who have, from the beginning and up to now, held the line. Nagpapasalamat ang lahat ng senador sa bawat isa sa inyo. Magpatuloy po tayo sa ating mabuting gawain. With God's grace, we will complete the work in the second regular session with laws for the betterment of all. Iba yung pag-iingat sa ating lahat. Marami pong salamat. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Very well said, Mr. President. Thank you for speaking also on behalf of the Senate. Congratulations to the first regular session of Congress for job well done to all my colleagues. And Mr. President, before we suspend session, may we request our colleagues to remain at the session hall for the photo opportunity. Mr. President, there being Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, there being no further business, I move that we suspend session until 4 o'clock this afternoon, at which time we shall reconvene at the session hall of the House of Representatives to hear the State of the Nation address of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte in a joint session of both houses of Congress. And when we adjourn the joint Senate, the session of the Senate shall be considered adjourned until tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at which time we will be passing on third and final reading the Bayanihan 2 measure. So I urge all our colleagues to be present tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. President. I so move for the suspension.
All right, as mentioned by the majority leader, we request our colleagues to remain in session hall for the session. Now, is there any objection to the motion of the majority leader to suspend the session? There being none, the session is suspended until 4 o'clock this afternoon for the joint session of Congress. And the members of the Senate who will physically attend the said joint sessions are advised to proceed to and be seated at the session hall of the House of Representatives by or before 3:30 p.m. After the joint session, the session of the Senate will be considered adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon this afternoon. And tomorrow, yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.